Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 327. In this episode, you're going to hear 3 reasons why Hilary DeCeasare is so badass. Now, if you missed the last episode, Hilary, she is a renowned expert in relaunches and personal growth. The energy was so amazing. You're going to want to go back and listen to that episode. Today, we're going to talk about 3 reasons why Hilary DeCeasare is so badass. So before we get to the episode, I got to tell you a story. There she was, sitting in a Toastmasters room with a feeling in her stomach like, ugh, can I do this? Terrified, right? Have you ever had that feeling? If you're not aware, Toastmasters teaches you how to do public speaking. So she was terrified and she found herself in the room. And this was the same girl who had found a workaround in college. She bypassed public speaking, even though it was a requirement. We'll get back to that story in a minute. So coming up, I'm super excited. Ordinary to Badass coaching is just around the corner, gonna be doing it on Friday, and I want you to join me. If you're ready to crush your goals, to start doing something different than what you've been doing, let's take action before the new year. January is just around the corner, and why wait till January to take action? If you could get some momentum now, imagine what that would do for you in the new year. So join us for a free coaching session. It's going to be a small, intimate group, and we're really going to focus on taking the first step. That's it. So remember that girl I told you about who was in Toastmasters feeling terrified? If you haven't guessed it, that girl was me. And I was just, I don't know, I spent so many years being terrified of public speaking that I was adamant it was something that I was not going to ever do. And I avoided it like the plague. But you know what? At a certain point, it stopped working for me. At a certain point, I realized I was meant for more. And I was just constantly selling myself short, using the fact that I am an introvert as an excuse to not get out of my comfort zone. So I took the first step, just like I want you to take the first step. The first step was looking up a Toastmasters class, looking up when I could attend, right? What worked for my schedule. So looked up the class. And the second step was attending a class. Again, I was just terrified. I wanted to leave. I wanted to get out of that room. And I had to speak a few times. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do not want to sign up for this. But I wanted to sign up for it. Like, just because it terrifies you doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, right? So I made a commitment to myself then and there that even though I had nerves, I was going to sign up for Toastmasters. And you know what? If I had walked out of that room and I didn't sign up for it, I knew myself well enough. I would not be back. So I made myself do it. I signed up for it and it changed my life. It changed my trajectory. Sometimes just taking one tiny step can change things for you completely, or it helps you just to take the next step, the next step, the next step. So if the big picture looks overwhelming, join the coaching class on Friday. It's going to be so amazing, and it will really help you nail down what your first step is and help you get confidence and a little bit of swag going into the new year. I want that for you. It feels so good. So ordinarytobadass.com/coaching. Join us for this coaching call. It's going to be so epic. And if you can't make that Friday, let me know. Reach out to me. I want to know what days and times work for you. For now, it's going to be on Friday. And you know what? It's going to be epic. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to help you knock over that first domino so you can go into 2024 rocking it. You're ahead of the game. So go to ordinarytobadass.com/coaching to sign up for today. With that, let's get to the episode already.
Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or badass, I am so glad you're here. Today, I'm going to share 3 reasons why Hilary DeCeasare is so badass. And it's also bad hair day. Didn't feel like doing my hair today, so I'm sporting a beanie because you know what? It's how I roll. Sometimes you just got to pick easy, right? Easy over the battle. Didn't want to battle with my hair, didn't feel like doing with it, so easy is the route we're going. If there's something you can do that will make your life a little bit easier, a little bit stress-free today, do it. Why the heck not, right? Okay, back on topic. Hilary DeCeasare, 3 reasons why she's so badass. Now, the first reason is for her badass journal. Hilary takes time to reflect on the badass things that she's done. And she said if she gets like a long weekend, she'll take the time, set it aside, and write down all of the things that she's done that has been badass, kick-ass, the things she's overcome, the hardships, right? And so that's no small feat. And she takes the time to do that. And she said, you know what? Not only that, she'll look at like the past decade. And then if she can think further on that, you know, look at the decade before that and the decade before that. So kind of takes it in increments. And if all you can remember is the past decade, cool. That's all you got to stick with, right? But sometimes when you're doing this, you'll find that things will come to you. Ideas will magically come to you because it's kind of in your subconscious brain once you start thinking about it. So don't be surprised if you get an idea in the middle of the day after you took some space from your journal, and it will come to you. And maybe keep a notes app or use the notes app in your phone and keep something saying my badassery and document your badassery. You are a badass. So do things to remind yourself of your badassery like Hilary is doing. So guess what? I'm going to take it a step further. She said that she writes down from the past decade. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but she also takes her ancestors. She looks at what her ancestors have done that was badass, because guess what? That's her DNA, right? And she's like, oh my gosh, this is in me. These powerhouses are in me. And she uses that to fuel her. And on down days, you can even take that and you can review that journal. You can review the things that you've overcome to kind of help give you a little bit extra swag, right? And then the one step further that I'm going to take it is if you have kids, look at your kids. What are the badass things your kids have done? What are you proud of your kids for accomplishing? Guess what? They have your DNA. They have your badassery. So like their badassery is an extension of you. Sometimes it takes us a minute to like really realize our badassery, the things that we've done. And so if you could start realizing the things that your kids have done, things that people before you have done, then it helps you to feel more badass. So question for you. Anybody else ever have a tough time seeing their own badassery? Like it's easy to call somebody else, anybody else a badass but yourself. Like if you were to call yourself a badass, you feel like a little bit of an imposter or a fake. I want to help you with that because it is so easy to move past that and recognize why you're a badass right now. And so 5-minute fast track to badassery. You can grab your copy right now. It's a free gift. And let me go over a couple of the things with you because you know what? I want to push you forward. I want to help you recognize your badassery. ordinarytobadass.com/fast. Go there if you want to check out the 5-minute fast track to your badassery. And the first one is, these are writing prompts that you can do. The first one is overcoming challenges. Write down any challenges that you've overcome. What's a specific challenge or obstacle that you have faced to get to where you are now? And you know what? This can include just hard things that have happened to you, right? And so here's the thing is I had a hair that was like coming off, but anyway, ignore that. I had a family member die. I had my stepdaughter die, right? And that was so hard for me. It was crushing for me. And so, you know what? I'm a bad bitch for being alive, for being okay, for pushing through to get to where I am today, for not being bitter, right? Because it would be so easy to be bitter and just not ever let the grief go because it's hard. I'm not saying don't grieve, grieve for sure. But at some point, you've got to move forward, right? But those hard things that you overcame, those hard things you have been through, that makes you a badass to be here today. So write down those challenges that you have overcome. Number 2, a line stepper. If you've ever been a line stepper and stepped out of your comfort zone, stepped over the line, done something that was new, maybe a new skill, and you figured it out. Kind of like I talked earlier about getting out of my comfort zone, going to Toastmasters, doing public speaking, even though I was terrified, even though I had avoided it for most of my life. But I did it, right? So I could add that to a list of things that make me a badass. And then number 3 is for your daily acts of courage. This doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be something monumental, right? It's just these small, tiny acts of courage that you display. And that can be like speaking up for somebody else. Maybe somebody's getting picked on or bullied and you speak up for them. Or you speak up at a meeting and you give your opinion. Maybe you're not necessarily comfortable giving your opinion, but you do it anyway because you know it's for the greater good. Again, these don't have to be big things. I am such a believer. If we can't recognize the small badass things we're doing, the small wins, the small good things that we're doing, we are never going to recognize the big things. So take a second, pause, do those writing prompts, create your journal of badassery. Or Rebecca Kordecki was on the podcast before and talked about a wall of badassery, like a big poster, right? A big poster where she had all the things on there of the badass things she had accomplished in her life. That serves as a constant reminder to remind you, you are a badass. You can do this. Go get the full list, ordinarytobadass.com/fast. So you can have 5 minutes of badassery, or it's a 5-minute fast track to badassery. Let's do this. There's no time to wait. Get in on it before 2024. We want to start taking action, pursuing our goals. So ordinarytobadass.com/fast. Okay, the second reason why Hilary DeCeasare is so badass is for changing her energy. So she was really good at changing her energy specifically for relaunches. She talked about a process called the tune-in process. If you want to know more about that, go back to the last episode. It's about elevating your energy and solving challenges by changing changing channels, and then you change the outcome as a result. So I tried it this week. I tried to tune in and do the 4-step process that she talked about last episode. And I got to say, it worked. It's like I was trying to come up with something for an idea for business, and I came up with it. And it was probably like 3 or 4 days. And I just kept kind of visualizing it and picturing it, doing the process that she talked about, the 4-step process. And then you know what? It's like your subconscious goes to work behind the scenes and something will come to you, right? But you have to be, it's about your energy. It's about how you're acting, how you're responding. Sometimes we get in the habit and we do the same thing every day. And so how do we expect a different result when we're doing the same thing? If you're keeping your energy at the same level, how in the world are things going to be different for you? It makes it really hard. So change your energy, listen to what Hilary DeCeasare is saying, try her tune-in process. And, you know, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm a huge fan. He has a book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Check it out. There's definitely a lot of sciencey stuff, like about your body and how it works, how energy works. Not good at that, but the book is still very interesting, even if you suck at science, like me. Dr. Joe Dispenza, though, says, change your energy and you change your life. So let's talk about how Hilary changed her energy with Diana Ross. Hilary wanted to take her mom. Her mom was not doing good. She had cancer and didn't have very long to live. And her mom had always loved Diana Ross. So Hilary became committed, like, my mom is going to go behind the stage. She is going to meet Diana Ross. It is going to happen. And then she did it, right? She talked to all these people. She like changed her energy that it was going to happen, even though doors kept slamming in her face. People kept saying, that's not going to happen. She doesn't let people backstage. She doesn't talk to people. Your mom's not going to meet her. I'm sorry. And so, you know what? She changed her energy. She did not accept that. Hilary was like, nope, this is going to happen one way or another. So she gets to the concert and she like starts calling in Diana Ross, like using her energy, doing the same things Diana Ross is doing. Like when Diana Ross would touch her hair, then Hilary would touch her hair, and she was doing all these things, just full on believing, like excited and believing her mom was going to meet Diana Ross. Now, somebody might have told her that's crazy. People told her it was impossible. Go back, listen to the episode if you want to hear the full story. But Hilary was able to channel Diana Ross and get Diana Ross to come off stage and talk to her mom. And Diana Ross whispered something in her mom's ear and they talked for a minute. And so she made that happen. She changed her energy. She got excited. She didn't believe all the obstacles that were put in her way. She didn't believe the obstacles that everybody else told her. She was like, this has got to happen. This is my mom's dream. She doesn't have much longer left to live. So you know what? She kept believing. She kept her energy high. She kept doing the things to make sure they would be in the best position possible to get Diana Ross to talk to her mom. And they sat on an aisle seat, right? She's like, we were the middle to the back. But they sat on an aisle seat, tried to get in a place where Diana Ross could see them, specifically see her mom. She didn't care if Diana saw her. She wanted her to see her mom and acknowledge her mom, talk to her mom. And she did that. She made it happen. Yes, she made it happen by changing her energy and getting excited and listening to her intuition. So, are you being intentional about your energy? When you want something, like you really want something, even if you don't know how to get it, are you changing your energy? Are you getting excited about it? Are you visualizing the very thing that you want? Take it from Hilary. You can do it. Change your energy. And of course, Dr. Joe Dispenza, change your energy, change your life. Okay, the third reason why Hilary DeCeasare is so badass is because of utilizing the pause principle. Now, Hilary said you have to break the cycle of launches. You have to take a minute, pause, and try to find the silver lining. So I think that's badass. I think that's badass. Take a moment, reflect. Where can you pivot? Where can you change? We are in a society where it's like go, 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 do all the time. And we forget to just pause, to just take a second and reflect. So whether it's in your business and you're doing something, take a moment to pause, or in life, and life is getting chaotic and crazy and you're stressed out, take a moment to pause. We forget, me included, what it's like to just take a deep breath and let it out. Do it right now. Do it with me. Sometimes just that alone can give us the reset we need, right? Or sometimes if you're at work, like, can you just go into your office and take a minute and just shut your eyes and take a few deep breaths? Or go into the bathroom and take a second? Like if you're feeling stressed, you're feeling overwhelmed about whatever the situation, it doesn't have to be a 10-minute thing, right? If you can just take a minute to yourself, take a few seconds and take some deep breaths, there is a power in that. There is a power in the pause. So it makes me think of the art of negotiation. Sounds weird. Stay with me. But okay, one of the tactics when doing a negotiation is to pause, to let the other person speak. And if you're the negotiator, you stay silent. You might ask a question or make a statement, and then you stay silent. I think they even do this in sales, right? So you present something, stay silent. Usually we don't like silence. And so we try to fill the gap, right? We try to fill it with something. And so that's the technique. You take a second, you pause, and you let somebody else fill the gap. Well, you can still do that with yourself, right? You can take a second and pause, and sometimes your subconscious will start working and fill in the gaps. You would be surprised at just like the relief this will give you if you just take a moment. Take a moment to pause. Okay, there was a quote by Rumi. I couldn't memorize it, so I'm going to have to read it. It says, "In the silence between your heartbeat bides a summons. Do you hear it?" So that was Rumi. And it's your silence reveals insights and opportunities that otherwise might not be present to you. You might not see them, just miss them with the busyness of life, right? So be present, be in the moment, pay attention to what is going on. Let me read it one more time. "In the silence between your heartbeat bides a summons. Do you hear it?" Rumi. Be present, my friends. Take it from Hilary DeCeasare. Utilize the pause principle. So let's do a quick recap. 3 reasons why Hilary DeCeasare is so badass. 1, for using a badass journal or creating a badass journal. 2, for changing her energy. And then 3 is for utilizing the pause principle. So loved this episode with our last episode with Hilary. So many good nuggets. I want to hear from you. Definitely reach out to me. Remember, we have a couple things going on. One is the coaching, ordinarytobadass.com/coaching. If you want to get in front of the new year and start take that first step to accomplishing your goal, right? Let's go into 2024 with some swag. And then the other thing is the 5-minute fast track to badassery, ordinarytobadass.com/fast. Yeah. I want to see you in this coaching session on Friday. So I'm excited. Let's get to it. With that, we'll end our show. To all the badass women out there staying in the arena, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass and get the chance to be on a future spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.